Hello, hello, lovely people of both LinkedIn and YouTube. We are live both on LinkedIn and YouTube. Another Monday, happy Monday, everyone. Time for another LinkedIn Live coffee conversation. And you know what, Nancy? I always forget to make myself coffee or open a beer. I don't know why. But before I go into too much random rambling, like sometimes I do, Nancy, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm really looking forward to what we will be talking about today. But let's start with you introducing yourself quickly to the audience first.
Hey, Miha. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I always love talking with you, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you better, especially just now, learning some extra things that I didn't know. I am Nancy Hand. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an NLP trainer. Background is in contract law and mediation, and more than that, my entire life has had a through line of communication, networking, and friendship. I've actually been teaching networking skills to entrepreneurs since about 2004, and lately I have noticed that the my myself I've been drawn more toward friendship and looking at the different ways that your network and your friendships blend and cross over, and how that can make them a lot stronger and more useful and actually more fulfilling all the way around, and not just as a wealth provider, which it definitely is, but also for overall life satisfaction, work life balance. And you know what? Who doesn't want to have a great social life too? That's part of being successful, is to have people to enjoy that abundance with, and be able to kick back. Isn't that part of the deal too? It's not just about making money, it's making money so you can enjoy yourself. And I help high achievers build those meaningful friendships and more supportive professional networks.
Lovely. Yeah, I mean, it is true. I'm guessing there might be some introverts who prefer to be more alone. But I think that even introverts, they might not enjoy having a huge uh, party around themselves. But I think there's nobody, or maybe there are very few people in this world that really, really love that solitude to the point where they don't let even one friend in. But apart from that, I think we all love those relationships, and especially now with Corona.
Well, and I think that the pandemic has helped people show their true colors. And what you're saying about introverts is absolutely true. And my thinking on that is, when someone is a really dyed of whatever, dyed in the wool, true blue, there you go, introvert, being alone is okay. That feels good and natural and normal. Someone who has been trained out of their natural ability to connect, and I think we are to an extent born that way. I think actually it's part of that limbic brain. We need community, and even to the extent that in the blue zones where people live to be over 100, there are 5 factors that lead into that longevity. 2 of those involve other people, community and meaningful friendships. So it is that important. And I would say there are absolutely true introverts out there, and a lot of people who identify as introverts who are fantastic networkers. They are, I think, more selective about with whom they share their space. And that's a great thing. That's actually something I teach extroverts to do, so they don't um, dredge the pond or spend too much time trying to crack a tough nut. It's about finding the right fit people. And I do think that people who are lean toward introversion have a more discretion in who they choose. And I think that's a great thing. It means that they hit the right, they like hit a good pattern early on, and line up with the right people more often because they do know what they're looking for. But I will say this: if the people who have been trained out of that natural ability to connect, and it could be from school, or tone it down, be seen and not heard, or whatever mom and dad or the pastors or whoever has trained them to be goes against that natural connection style, then they will be lonely, because in their hearts they do want to connect. In their brains they're thinking they should do it a certain way, or they should or shouldn't act a certain way, and in that way they are blocked from that connectivity.
Okay. Well, Nancy, I've had in the past on this show a few people with whom we were talking about business networking and professional friendships and so on. But what you are talking about is not the professional part of our life, which of course is important. Our network is our net worth and so on. But you more focus on those friendships, like real friendships. And I mean, we talked about this already for the podcast last week when we were recording the podcast, which is not live yet. It will be in due time, but it's not yet. But us entrepreneurs, we often for blend that whole friendship and business, and we just want to have professional connections and transform them into friendships, which might not always be the right thing to do. And it's important for us to create other friendships as well outside of our professional work. So I'm going to let you do a bit more of a monologue and
Oh,
walk
sure.
us through these different concepts, because, um, what you're talking about is really very important, because it's important for us entrepreneurs to have some life outside of our business, or you can go crazy. So that's why, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that, and
Good.
the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. So Miha and I had a good podcast the other day, and actually some of the things you brought up have been swirling in my brain. And the thing is, your network is your net worth. That's true. It is who you know, and all you need to do is look at how how big of a deal it is to get your kid into the right summer camp in Texas. So that they meet the right people, so that they go to the right college, so that they get into the right organization, so it is who you know. That's where the opportunities are going to come to you. And with your non-work connections, it does take, I think, a more aligned sense of self. But you have your network as your net worth, and then also the five people you spend the most time with. If you look at them, you'll see where you'll be in the next few years. Those are two different statements, actually, because your network isn't who you're spending the most time with. Those aren't your tight friends. Those aren't your core group. And the importance of having people in your immediate circle, friends, family, or whatnot, who are there to lift you up, who understand what you are doing and your purpose and your vision, and who are rising with you. And it doesn't mean that they have to be parallel on your path, by no means, but to be able to look at you and even say, you know what, I see you're starting your own business. I have no idea what you're doing. I'm here for you anyway. And if you ever want to go play pool or have a beer, I'm here and I'm willing to listen and learn. That's the kind of support you need at home. And with entrepreneurs, a lot of times what I'm seeing, and with my clients, that this is why they come to me. They get in this tunnel vision, like work, 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 work. They have a vision and a purpose, and they're aligned with it, and they're, grabbing the bull by the horns kind of thing. And in the corner of their eyes, friends don't get what they're doing. They don't understand. You're working too hard, and they get like blowback for the hours they're putting in, for the intensity of their work, for always talking about work, etc., and begin to feel alienated and isolated and disconnected. And that's before a pandemic, mind you. And with that, you look around, and it is, like I say, it's lonely at the top. If you are a business owner or a solopreneur, or even have a side hustle that is taking a lot of your time and energy, it will get lonely, because you are at the top. You're it. There's no way around that. So finding the right people is going to take a little bit of effort. And I say when you're developing your business, it is as important to develop not just those professional contacts who will be long haulers, like look at Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. They are friends. Surely that started out as a business connection. Probably no question. The Beastie Boys started out as friends and then went into business together. So it goes both ways. And with the way you approach the greater world when you're networking, if you can find that center and that sense of self when you are out in the wide world working your business and making those business contacts, you will have a better chance of meeting business contacts who will be those long-term business buddies. If you look at the group that basically founded Silicon Valley, they all worked together. They were all working together. And then when the company they worked for disbanded, one of them had the bright idea to say, you know what, we're worth more as a group than we are individually. And so he took the initiative to shop them around as a group, and they were all hired. And basically, this became the seeds that from which Silicon Valley sprung. But in the subsequent years, that group of initial innovators, they became friends. And in that friendship, as one would spot talent or something that looked like a good deal, he would, and they were all he's, would say, let me call so-and-so, this is right up his alley. And they started to connect each other left, right, and center. And that is how that happened. It's fascinating. And there is a documentary on Netflix right now called Something Ventured, which is, I've watched it twice. It's great. But
Okay.
it is how those friendships can
Something
blend.
to put on the list of to-dos.
Yes.
What again? What's the name of the
The documentary is called Something Ventured, and it's
okay.
pretty much the advent of venture capital as a real thing, as a what we know it now, and it's according to even LinkedIn and the Department of Labor, 80 to 86% of all jobs and clients and opportunities come through your network. And those aren't all professional network connections. And the interesting part about that is there are members in your network that they refer to as weak ties. And a weak tie might be your neighbor's brother-in-law. It's removed. It's like you've got your core people, and then your occasional people, and then acquaintances. Your weak links are out here, and a lot of opportunities originate out here. It's someone knows someone who knows someone. Oh, I know somebody who does X, Y, Z, and it daisy chains back to you. 70% of all jobs are never posted for the public. That means that if you're not in network, so to speak, if you don't know somebody, you'll never see 70% of the available opportunities. That's a big deal. Financially, that's a huge deal. And I guess my point to all of this is, having taught networking for so long, you can go into that room full of people at a conference, and I always take home at least one person who's going to stay a friend, not just a good contact, but a friend. And what I like to do is teach my clients how to manage that relationship so that you can continue to do both, because you can. It's absolutely possible. And who better to grow and evolve with you than someone who is, understands what you're doing, who values you and respects you, and who has a feeling of positive regard toward you that can grow into friendship. And it's identifying those people right off the bat, planting the little seed, and then cultivating it. It's really the trick. It's not a trick. It's once you know how to do it, it's easy.
Well, that would be my next question. So, most of my connections on LinkedIn are either fellow entrepreneurs or they are in some sort of a leadership position inside corporations. So those are the two most common groups of my connections on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So, what would you tell them? What would you advise them? What would you suggest them if we start first at making friends and maybe, some extra bonus tips for the Corona times and,
Mhm.
outside of the Corona times? And then we can go into, okay, so now we've made a few friendships. How do we now nurture this in the right way going forward?
So the absolutely first thing that I ever advise anybody to do is really take a beat and look at first the best friendships you've ever had. How did they start? What was it about that person that interested you? What was it about the way you felt around that person that interested you? And why did it work? And really just take a look at your better relationships and write it down. Like this was great because we were laughing within the first 5 minutes. And it could just be an energy. You, I promise, are going to be funnier, wittier around some people, more thoughtful and creative around some other people. So we inspire things in each other. So look at your better friendships and the ones that have lasted the longest and ask yourself, what is it about that person? What is it about me around that person? Who do I become in that moment? And then look at really assess who you have in your circles. Did that one last? If not, why not? And if it is still there, how have you kept it going? Look at those long-term relationships. How have you managed to keep keep that relationship fresh and fun? And it's funny because romantic relationships sometimes go poof poof, but those long-term friendships really stay the course, and you still have to keep them fresh and young, just like you would a marriage. You got to keep the love alive. And look at what you have there and then think, first of all, it is going to take some time. When you're fully aligned with what you need and what you want, who you're looking for to fill a hole in your social world, it will take less time because you know what you're looking for. And if you have the skills, it will be easier to craft that from the get-go, but you have to know what you need. So, who are you looking for specifically? Are you looking for someone to go rock climbing with you on the weekends? Are you looking for a fishing buddy? Are you looking for someone who's going to get in front of the whiteboard with you and go like poof, and like get innovative and make things happen? Are you looking for someone who's to go out on the pub crawl with you? So figure out what you're looking for and how you see that relationship aging over time. I know this seems like a lot, but honestly, this is you sitting on the back porch with a beer and a notebook. Like, who are my best people? How did that happen? How do we feel and work around each other? Why has it lasted so long, or why didn't it last? And who do I need right now? And then you've identified the role. And then you can, from that point, ask, what am I willing to give? How much time do I have to allow for this? And that's where you actually look at your calendar ahead of something, an event, or if you're going to make contact with someone and go, okay, I am going to reach out to so and so. If they respond positively, like, hey, let's do something, as often will happen, you will be able to say, you know what? Next Thursday afternoon, you want to jump on Zoom with me? We'll have a beer and catch up, you know? And you asked to talk about doing things right now in this era we're in. I don't era?
Well,
It's
we're
era.
like
This
at
moment
different
in time.
levels, on
Yeah.
different levels throughout the world. There are different, sanctions in place, restrictions in place. Some countries are facing tighter lockdowns. Some countries aren't on lockdowns. So it's very different. But
Yeah.
what what are some of your best ideas, best suggestions, how we can build friendships and how we can nurture friendships even in this different times when you can't just call somebody up and say, hey, you want to go for a beer tomorrow? because maybe the bars are not open.
Yeah, and or maybe they're not in your location either. That happens a lot. Zoom has been a godsend in many ways, just as far as being able to keep up with people. What I've found is that a lot of people have thankfully discovered that they have hobbies and other outside interests are a really great way to come into someone's world. You know what I mean? And if you have spent part of this last year learning how to knit or bake or do handstands or magic, find those people too. And if possible, find those people who are on your same level business wise. You might want to look for people in your specific groups. Say you're in an entrepreneur group, small business group, or whatever, to post one of the things to say, hey, who else has learned to bake this season? Who else has picked up a new hobby, and what is it and what's it done for you? And then pull from there, like, hey, I did the same thing. You want to share tips and pull everybody into a group or a room or a Zoom. There are a lot of innovative things going on right now, including like virtual escape rooms and interactive exercises that people are doing together that are really cool. And for Thanksgiving this past week in the US, and I had people from all over the world, which was cool. We have basically a studio set up in the kitchen because I'm a hobbyist bread baker, and I'll open up my kitchen once a week usually. And for Thanksgiving, we made a gumbo, which is a Louisiana treat and sort of Caribbean inspired. We made gumbo all day long. So from 10 a.m. in the morning to, I think we shut her down at 7:30 in the evening, we had people coming and going from an open Zoom. It was like an open house, and it was neat. Some people stayed and cooked with us for an hour or two. We had 7 people on at once. Somebody popped in and did some card tricks for us. It was neat. And I think that having a place where people feel comfortable. So if you are tinkering in your garage a lot, hook up your Zoom and go live somewhere and go, hey, everybody, I'm building a bookshelf. If you want to come watch, come hang out. People will. I've actually been really surprised how many people are willing to watch me laminate dough. It's a lot. Just open up lives on a couple of platforms and turn the lights on and stretch my dough across a kitchen island. People watch. They're interested. Have you watched me do that?
No, but quick question.
Sure.
No, but quick question. What platforms? So when you do this, like once a week, it's not for like just your friends that you send the Zoom link to. Like you actually go live on a few platforms. Which are those?
Well, I've just picked up on learning Restream, so I will go live on my personal Facebook page and in a group that I host and on YouTube. And then
okay.
I will be, I've just decided that I will start inviting people in because I really like the interactivity of Thursday of the Thanksgiving. It was awesome to be able to answer questions and talk. And so the last bread day I also did Zoom, and I had 5 people show up, and there were a lot watching online, but just having people to talk to and ask questions, it was great. And it's an interactive activity. And the thing is, this pandemic isn't going to last forever. Bottom line. And we are all in a position to make some advancements in the way we connect and learn how to do a new way of connecting. I think in the long run, if we put some effort and some attention into learning how to do this well, people who do are going to be unfreaking stoppable when the pandemic's over, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And it's not just the piano or your French. It also goes for your social skills. So taking this opportunity to master a new way of connecting, I think, is a brilliant idea. And I highly recommend I recommend it to everybody, and especially the people who identify as introverts, because this is an opportunity to have full control over how you connect. Shoot, you can even mute somebody if you don't want to hear what they have to say. So, you know, it's like the training wheels of communication. If you really, if you've struggled in big groups, this has to be like the best playground ever, I think.
No, yeah, yeah, I agree with the with all of that. Nancy, our time is
Yeah.
running out slowly, but you really gave us really a lot to think about. And I really like this whole concept of okay, yes, you have your business contacts. Yes, some of those might end up being like your really good true friends as well. But it's really beneficial if you go a little bit above that comfort zone of being the business person and just explore a little bit. Oh, I love dancing salsa. Well, let's have some salsa friends. Or I love cooking. Let's find some cooking friends who might not be entrepreneurs, but every now and then, as an entrepreneur, you have to disconnect. And the best ideas normally come when you're not in the entrepreneurial mindset. The best ideas I have is when I'm walking my dogs, when I'm next
Yep.
to some water, when I'm doing some crazy stuff, when I'm having beers with my friends. It's really then when I have my biggest aha moments, not when I'm at my computer.
It's when you're relaxed. And I'll add to that, if you look at how many business deals take place on the golf course, and I am from Louisiana. I'm from the south of the United States, and we have something, and I don't know if you have the same thing where you are, but we refer to it as the good old boy. They're like it's almost like a club, and it's their
No,
friends, and they do business together, and they go hunting together, and they go to Vegas together, and it's like an expanded friend slash professional network. And when you see someone rise above the fray in any business, I promise you there's a group of people somewhere there that is helping to orchestrate that move up. And we need that. And those aren't just professional network people, those are friends. They'll put you on their shoulders and help you get to where you need to go.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, we don't have clubs like that that I would know of, but we do have, like
It's not a
rotor,
club.
ro
It's like an unspoken thing. It's kind
well,
of
yeah,
people,
yeah,
it's who you know. It is. It's knowing the right people to get you
yeah,
where you need to go.
yeah. Well, Nancy, my last question is always very simple. What is that last golden nugget of wisdom that you want to leave the audience with?
I will go ahead. It's the same nugget I gave you last time, but I think it's worth repeating over and over again. The best time to reach out to a friend is before you need one. And so the best way to reach out to a friend is with no agenda whatsoever. So I hear people say, well, I don't want to go calling people. I don't have anything to say. Perfect. Perfect. When you have nothing to say and nothing to offer a conversation, that's when you reach out to a friend. And all you have to do is if someone crosses your mind, send them a text or a voice message or something that just says, hey, you crossed my mind. I hope you're doing well. That's it. You don't have to, no call to action, no call me back or anything like that. No, how's it going? Just, I hope you are doing well. I thought about you. You've been on my mind. I saw a magazine that reminded me of something we talked about once. I hope you are doing well. And you'll either hear from them or you won't. But either way, you have planted a seed. You've had a point of contact. You've let them know you're thinking about them. And they may be not in a position to get back with you in that moment. I promise, no matter what, you will make their day. And that's what I'll leave you with, is that it takes next to nothing to make someone's day. Think about it. And how easy is it to hit that little mic on your text messages and just say, hey, thought about you earlier. I hope you're doing well. Boom. That's it. That's all you have to do.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Well, follow-up question.
Yeah.
How, because everything that you're talking should mostly come from your heart.
Hmm.
But
Agreed.
how mindful, because usually our logical mind and our heart doesn't really like, either you're in very very hard thing,
Yeah.
or you're in your head. How do we balance the heart, how we should come across, with how mindful we should be about, oh, I haven't reached out to Nancy in 2 weeks. Like, how mindful should we be to leave those, or attend those little seeds frequently?
I I actually I actually just reach out when someone crosses my mind, and I'm not kidding about that. And what's interesting is people cycle through my thought processes pretty evenly. So, um, and what's interesting is when someone does cross your mind for whatever reason and you reach out, 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I was thinking about you," or telling someone about you, or just picked up your book the other day. There's a connection there that we all have. And on the balancing the head and the heart, the best thing I can tell you is when you do reach out, do it out of a sense of true curiosity and of love. And check yourself before you send a text, before you send that email or make a phone call. Like, who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for us? Am I doing this to genuinely check up on them and see how they're doing and let them know that they're loved and appreciated and I'm here? And if you just take a beat and think about that first, you will always be coming from your heart, which is exactly how you want to reach out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I call this, I don't know, I still haven't found words how to explain it, but I say to people, it's all about being mindlessly mindful, where like you really do it because of the heart, for the heart, uh, because of what you want for them or for us, but you wanna remind yourself every now and then to be more diligent in that part, because we are so often carried on this autopilot, and we are so busy with our own shit that we just forget about others. So the trigger to put
Yeah.
yourself out of that autopilot, but then you do it with the heart.
And remember that the people that your biggest fans, your core group, those friends that you think that you can go for years and not talk to, and then suddenly it's like everything's all the same. They need attention too. Even a tree will die of drought. And so remember that they need, to be appreciated as well. And I mean, it's important to grow your little seedlings of new friendships, and also make sure you touch base with those old friends as well. And it is important. And, holidays and birthdays are really great for that. If nothing else, you've got that once a year touching base. Make sure you do it. And you just said something else that I was going to follow up on, but it might be for next time.
Well, Nancy, just quickly, if this resonated with the audience or people who will most likely watch this on a replay,
Yeah.
where can they find you? What's the best way to get in touch with you? How can they work with you? How do you work with them? Just a quick. Um,
Okay. Coming up this weekend, I have the friendship event, and that can be found at thefriendshipevent.com. And I do coach one-on-one and with group coaching. And the friendship event is something that would be interesting to anyone who's looking to really reinvigorate their existing networks or build from scratch. And we're starting with aligning with self and really finding out where you need to connect, drawing out those strengths, because I believe everybody has their own unique charismatic style. It's like a fingerprint. And a lot of times people are trained away from that style. We're going to bring you back to that and go through all of the rapport skills, a lot of NLP there, but how to connect with people in the real world and then how to cultivate those connections long term. And I have a podcast called Friends on Hand, where we talk about aspects of friendship. And this last one is all about how friends build resilience and help foster good mental health, or fight loneliness rather. So and I love talking with entrepreneurs because I think that this is a neglected part of that journey. And boy, when you get it right, when you have the right people lined up supporting you, and a team around you that is a resource as well as a comfort and just fun. Let's just be clear. Friends are fun. Then you don't end up at the top of the mountain at the end of the day, healthy and wealthy and all by yourself. Let's make sure you have some people there to clink glasses with you when you succeed, and offer you some comfort when you need it.
Perfect. Well, Nancy, this was an absolutely lovely conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being my guest. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for the value that you brought to the table. I really do appreciate you for what you're helping fellow entrepreneurs with.
Yeah.
I really do. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Happy Monday. All the best in everything that you do with the bread kneading and dough making and all
And
of that.
in my
And of,
kitchen. I had no idea I had a celebrity on my hands. You better come cook with me.
yes, we can do that. We should do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for being my guest. Have a
Thank
lovely
you
rest of your
for having me.
day and lovely week, and all the best on your journey. Take care.
All right. Bye.
All right, everybody. Another Monday, another amazing interview. Yeah, Nancy is just so wonderful. And the topic she's talking about, uh, everything about friendship, it's really, really, really so important um, to be mindful about that, um, because you can so easily get lost in just being the business person, in just business networking and all of that. We need that fun, we need that happiness in our life. So I really do hope that you enjoy the interview and what Nancy was talking about. Of course, next Monday, another interview, another LinkedIn Live. You are all very much invited to watch this live, watch this on a replay. We are live both on YouTube, on LinkedIn. You can watch replays on YouTube, on LinkedIn. So, yeah, with that, I just hope that everybody is healthy and safe wherever you are in the world, whatever the state of pandemic and corona and all of that is. I wish you all the best. Have fun and see you next Monday, guys.